All right, so we went in a straight line with the ship, but which is along one hex side. But now I want to go over, mm, go, going in a direction that's not a straight line along a hex row. Going in a bearing that's not a straight line along a hex row. So over here, I have my avid. That's the top of the ship, that's the front, and that's the port side, or the right side. This is just my abbreviations because it makes it quicker to make changes for the video portion. And if you know the port, you're going to know the starboard. If you know the front, you're going to know the back. If you know the top, you're going to know the bottom. So I just use this as a little shorthand. Now, the ship is starting at 0. And we want to go through this specific hex. So the way you do that is you have to count out in both directions. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 18, 19, 20, 21. So we're going 21 in the C direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 21 in the C direction, and we're going 5 in the B direction. So someplace I want to write that down. I'll just put it on the card and right. 21C, 5. So over there I wrote in small letters 21C, 5B because I want to hit that hex right there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to divide 21 divided by 5. So 21 divided by 5 is 4. So that will give you an approximate 4. So that's going to give you a 4-to-1 ratio. So for every 4 you go forward, you have to take 1 to the left. So if I do a speed of 5, so what I'm going to do is go at speed 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to do a pivot 1, and then a pivot 1, and then pivot back in this direction, go 1, 2, 3, 4. Meanwhile, the ship is going to be drifting in this direction. So I may actually have to do 2 in this direction in the middle, in the middle of this burn. So first of all, I'm going to start off with 5. I'm not going to do a pivot change yet. So it's going to be the beginning of the turn. I have my turn chart. So it's going to be the beginning of the turn, first segment of the turn. So at the end of the turn, we're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the end of turn marker is going to be here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to be the end of turn marker. And that's going to be the next segment because it's going to start right there. All right. So now, but I'm going to cut off the power. Yeah, I'm going to go 5 and then go 2 to the left. So the bottom line is you want to get this right here at a 4-to-1 ratio. So for the first segment, I'm not going to move. I am going to get 1 dot in the C direction. For the second segment, I'm going to move. I'm not going to move, but I'm going to get 1 dot in the C section. Acceleration dot, and the acceleration dots actually go in the gray. So I just want to make sure, using the proper terminology, using this properly, other than my little shortcuts there. But so 1 dot in the C, so that's the second segment we're calling right here, and I'm going to go with the first turn. First turn, second segment. I'm going to go to the third segment, and we're going to add another acceleration dot to C, and then I cross off a pulse. So for the fourth segment, we're going to have to move the next segment marker. We're going to have to give it a 4th acceleration dot, and we're going to have to mark this. And now we'll move forward 1, and there we are. So now the 5th segment. So for the 5th segment, cross off the thrust, and I put a dot right here. Now I have acceleration dots. I have 5 acceleration dots right here. So for the next turn, so for the 6th segment, I'm going to cut off the acceleration. And again, I'm doing everything very quickly here. So I'm going to cut off the acceleration for the 6th turn. So there's going to be no more acceleration dots, no more of these logged off. There's no more future position. There's no future position change in this particular one right here, because this is where we cut off the thrust. But we do have, but I set thrust to 0. So the thrust was set to 0. So now we do the count acceleration dots. So we have 1, 2, 3, 5 acceleration dots. So I have a vector of 5 over here. And we have now we fill off this right here. So we're going in velocity 5 in direction C. Velocity 5 in direction C. So we're looking at that chart right there, and it's the pattern of dots is looking like that. So there'll be 1 here, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's what our acceleration is going to look like over here. So we're on turn 6 right now. Okay. So the end of turn stays where it is. And we're going to go back. So now we have no thrust, but now I want to do a pivot change, a facing change. So I want to be facing in the B direction. So I look at the facing chart right here, and that the first turn I'm going to be, so segment 7 I'm going to be there, and segment 8 the rotation will be completed. So this is going to be segment 7, and it's going to end up segment 8 right there. So we did that. Change thrust, no. We move this forward to segment 7. Are there acceleration dots to be recorded? No, and I should get rid of those from before. So this should just have a 5 here. We don't have any acceleration dots. Alcohol is starting to dry out. There we go. I'll dry off a little bit. So we're going at 5 in this direction. So we did the paper clip, move the paper clip forward, no acceleration dots, no pulses. The future position markers, their position change, yes, there's one in the C direction. Now, so move ships to future position marker and change ship's orientation per roll, per pivot, that's a pivot. All right, and that's it for turn. There's no thrust, so there's no thrust brake. There's no regeneration step. All right, so now we've set our pivot, so we don't have to set a facing change because we're already in the process of one. So we don't change thrust, pivot's recorded. So now we go down to segment 8. And we're going to pivot again. So there are no acceleration dots, no thrust because we're not thrusting. So I'll clear that up. So there's no thrust. So there's no acceleration dot, no thrust. We place future position marker, there is a change, we're moving it right there. And move all ships to future position markers and then do your rotation right there. Yep. Like that. And so that's it for the end of this turn. So now we go to the beginning of the second turn. Turn 2. And we'll be at segment 1. So we want to replace, so we want to place this the end of turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but that's going to change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all else being equal, the ship would drift over there, but not all else is going to be equal. So what we're going to do now, we're going to have thrust this way. Right. We're going to have thrust, we need thrust in that direction, so I'm going to change thrust, and I'm going to put on the maximum thrust there. So I want to go that way quickly because I want to get on the right track. So we already did the pivot, the paper. No yes, there is one acceleration dot in the B direction. And cross off the pulse on the pulse chart. And displace future position marker. The ship is drifting in this direction, so that's where it's going to be next. And move ship to future position marker. I can put, all right, so I can change this right here because the ship had a facing change. So with the facing change, the ship is facing in that direction. That's the port, and that's the top. And we do have one acceleration dot in the B. Excellent. All right. So we move to future position markers. We change. There's no pivots or rolls. Clarify that. That's port. They also use this symbol right there, which is a little like that to indicate right, and then they do like that to indicate left. Port starboard. So we did that, and it's okay. So that's it for that turn. So now for the next turn, we're not gonna, no long orders. No long orders. I'm gonna need a new rag, I think. So no long orders. And we're going to move the timer down to the second segment. And is there a change of thrust? No. Or remove the paperclip timer, so we need another acceleration dot in that direction. And now we move to future position marker. Yes, there is a position change. And now we're going to move. Is there an orientation change? Is there a facing change? No. So we're going to move to the future position marker. All right. So now for the next term, I want to turn off the thrust. Right. So change thrust. So before I would have had to have two of these. And of course I'm marking off fuel here. Every time I do the consolidation, I change fuel here. So now what we're going to do, there's no thrust, future position marker for turn 3. So we're on turn 3. Is there a future position marker change? No. Right. So the ship isn't moving to a future position marker. We're not changing its orientation. We have set thrust 0 as a long order. So we copy the fuel to the ship chart. So there are 2 acceleration dots in this direction. So we're going to put 2 over there. Right. I don't have any 60s. I don't have any 180s or 120s. These are just not 60 degrees apart. So there's acceleration dots. So I don't need that. I don't need change thrust because it's completed. And I think next time I'm going to use a dry towel and a wet towel. I'm going to change that because that looks a little bit confusing. So that's the symbol right there, and that's direction 2. Alright, so now we have to, so that's already where it's supposed to be. So now we need to look at the 5-2. So right there you see that at the first segment and in the 5th segment, there's going to be movement. First segment and the 5th segment, there's going to be movement in the B direction. And I have a little bit too much velocity in the B direction. So what I'm going to do is, once I reach this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot in that direction and increase my speed by 5 so we get that 2-to-1 ratio. So, alright. Okay, so that's it. So now we go to the next turn. So now I want to start another pivot. I'm going to pivot to the right. So I want to set a facing change. So right now this is going to be turn 4. So turn 4, I'm going to be here. And I'm going to go right here for turn 5. And there's my current facing. So there's no change of thrust. Paper clip there. No acceleration dots, no pulse. The future position marker for this turn is going to be 1 in this direction. Okay. And change ship orientation for pivots and rolls. And actually when we reset this, we reset the end of turn marker. So starting from there, we have 4 in the C direction, 1 in the B. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be our end of turn marker. So now we gotta change the future position marker, which we did. There is so first you change position. What is it? The rotation first. Yeah. Future position marker, and then change notation, and that's where we are. So we're on turn 4. So we're entering turn 5. So for turn 5. Turn 5, I'm not going to set a new facing change because we're already in the middle of a pivot. So move the paperclip timer right here. No acceleration dots, no thrust chart. Future position marker. 1 in C, 1 in B. Move all ships to future position markers. And then do rotation and rolls, or pivot and rolls. And we're done with that, segment 5. Yep. Okay. 5-2. Yep. Okay. So we can clean that. Yep. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure the cameras, so you can see what's going on over there. There you go. All right. So we're going 5 in this direction. Our momentum's taking us 2 in that direction. The bow of the ship is right there. The right side or the port, whichever one you want to call it, it's right there. I have a P marker and I have the marker they use in Squadron Strike. And of course the top of the ship is the star. Again, this right here is shorthand notation because if you know the right, you also know the left. If you know the front, you know the back. But if you want to put the front right back, it might make things easier to understand. I'm just doing this so I can quickly try and make quick changes here. All right. So now, okay, there we go. All right, so there's no thrust brake because there's no thrust. Next turn there will be. All right, so we're going to the next turn. I want to change thrust, and I want to go change thrust by 5 because I want us, because right now the ratio is 5 to 2. I want this about 5 to 1. So I'm going to try this at 2.5. Well, 2.5, it means in 8 segments. I'm going to go with 2.5. So my speed I'm going to go is I'm going to do 2.5 acceleration. And I think that will bring us right through there. So let's see if it works. All right. So long order, that's my long order. Change thrust, just did it. Move down the paper clip. Yep. Acceleration dots, yes, one in this direction. Cross off pulse. Actually, this pulse right here doesn't have an, because I only did 2.5. This doesn't have an acceleration dot. So do this right here. Right. So move all ships to future position marker doesn't change for this particular turn. This ship pivoting and rolling, nope. All right, so that's it for this turn. Segment, I mean. So for the next segment, I'm not going to change thrust. There's no long orders. So there's no long orders this turn. Right. So there's no long orders. Don't want to mess this up. There we go. All right. No change thrust. No pivot to record. Moving the timer. Are there any new acceleration dots? Yes, there will be this turn, because that's where we are right there. Record pulse off, and then record future position marker, which is right there. And are there pivots and rolls? Nope. Move to future position marker. And we're done for this segment. Now we're going into segment number 8. We're going into segment 8. Let's see if there's anything I'm going to change. All right, nope. So, segment 8, change thrust, no. Acceleration dots, no. Mark off pulse, yes. Future position marker change, yes. Didn't do the paperclip timer. All right, and move all ships to future position marker. We're at the end of the turn. And that's it. So we're going to have to do an end of turn segment. And now we go back to the very top. Alright, so the first thing you do is place the future position marker for this segment. So the end of turn is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 in the B direction. 1, 2. So that's where we're headed right now. 1, 2. And I think we're going to be pretty good to hit that target. That's a tough target to hit, but we'll see. So is there a thrust change? No. Is there a pivot? No. Paperclip timer's done. Acceleration dots. Yes, we do get an acceleration dot. They did cross off a pulse on the thrust chart. Future position marker. I'm going to go 1 in this direction. 1, 2. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2. Okay, yeah, I got it. It goes right there. All right. Move all ships to future position markers and do a rotation. Is there a rotation here? No, there's no rotation. All right, so there's no thrust. We're not going. Are we going to do a thrust brake at this point? 1, 2. I'm not going to do a thrust brake at this point. All right, so we're going to go on. So there's no new orders. So we're going to move the paper clip. There is one acceleration dot. We do mark off a pulse here. 2, yep, 2.5. So mark off a pulse. Displace future position marker. It's going to go one in this direction. And move all ships to future position markers. Is there a pivot? No, there's no pivot. So that's the end of this turn. All right. So now I'm going to do an order change thrust. I'm going to shut off the 2.5. So move the paper clip. Are there acceleration dots gained? No, because I just shut off the thrust. Cross up pulse on pulse chart. Nope, this is the turn the thrust has been shut off. Displace future position marker. We don't do that because there's no change position. So no change to future position marker, no pivots and rolls, but we do have a thrust brake. All right. So for the thrust brake, I'm going to clean that off first of all. So just set that for the next turn. Right. And now we get 8. So now we're going to be going 8 in this direction. And again, those 3 should be right around the C. But we're going 8 in the C direction now. I'm going to have to use a little bit more rubbing alcohol. There we go. Okay. So 8 in the C direction means that we'll have a 1 over here for each. So each turn we're going to be going 1 unit in the C direction. So I'm just going to put a 1 over here. Now I want to look at the 8 to 2 chart. Let's look at the 8. So I'll just be 1. Yeah, 0, 1, 0, 2. All right, so it's going to look like this. Excellent. I'm going to have marked 8 over here. All right. So now we're going to go on to segment 4. So are there any change thrusts? Nope, we already did that last turn. No record pivot, paper clip. Again, this one means we're on second turn over here. And again, this is a little bit easier. I'm recording this, but it's a little bit easier if you can just hold this in your hand, and I have to do it so it's in front of the screen. Change thrust, no. Record pivot, no. Paper clip delay, just did it. Acceleration dots, no. Pulse, no. Displace future position marker, 1 in this direction. Now when we made this facing change, right, so we're going to see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to change the edge of segment markers when we're getting it, and that's going to be right there. Right? Because when we did this change, when we changed this, we have to change the edge of segment marker because things are changing. I'm head like that. So move the future position marker, moving the ship to the future position marker, and we're done with that segment. Now we go to the next segment, segment 5. So there's no change of thrust, there's no pivot. I'm going to keep the same speed. I'm going to keep everything the same right now. I'm not going to change its momentum in any direction. I'm not going to change its facing. I'm just, hopefully this is going to go float right through there, so to speak. All right, so timer. And acceleration dots, no. Pulse, no. Future position marker will be 1 in the C direction and 1 in the B direction, right here. Okay. Move all ships to future position marker. Then was there a pivot or roll? Nope, so we're done. All right, so we go on to the next turn, and there's going to be no orders again. So, change thrust? No. Record pivot? No. Paper clip? Yep. Right there. All right. Acceleration dots? No. Pulse? No. Displace future position marker? Right there. Move ship to future position marker. There are no turns or pivots or rolls. All right. So for the next turn, we're not going to do anything differently. First, change that. No acceleration dots, no pulses. Displace future position marker, just one right here. Move ship to future position marker, and there are no pivots or rolls. Next segment. The ship is just going to go right there, and that's going to be it for that turn. We'll be entering the third turn now. So are we going to change anything for the third turn? Nope, we're not going to do any long orders. So for the first segment, we're going to go right there. All right, so we're going to go right there for the first segment. And there's no acceleration dots, no thrust, future position marker. One this way, one that way. Yep, one forward and one to the, yep. Move ship to future position. Wait, first we have to see where it's going to be after this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 1, 2. So this is actually, we're not going to hit our target here. All right. So let's just see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. We might, because we're going to end the turn right over here. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. Okay. I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do. Aha, magic. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. I'll do a little bit more movement. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. So I think we might actually hit our gate and through the goal, which would be great. All right. So turn 1, I move the future position marker, move the ship. No turns or rolls. Excellent. All right. So we go to the next segment. Again, I'm going to collapse things. I'm going a little bit quicker now. All right. So we go to the next segment. There is no change of thrust, no pivot. We just move the paper clip. No acceleration dots, no pulse. Displace future position marker. Move the ship to future position marker. Rotate, none. No long. So we're going to the next segment. No long orders. No thrust or pivot to record. Paper clip. Resolve thrust phase. No acceleration dots. No pulse crossed off. Displace future position marker. Move ships to future position marker. So this is the move ships, change ship orientation per pivots and rolls. Again, I'm going right down this procedure here. And that's it for that turn. My dog just visited me. All right. So next segment, no long orders. Move this. No long orders, so nothing to record. Future position marker goes 1 in this position. Goes 1 in that position. Then we move to future position marker and no rotation at all or anything. All right. So end of segment. No long orders. We don't have to change anything over here. Go to 5. Change future position marker. Okay, it's looking right. So it's going to look right there. So that's 1. And then 1 in that direction, forward 1, and 1 in, that direction right there. There we go. That's looking good, actually. I think we got this. All right, so no acceleration dots, no pulses to cross off. Displace future position marker, done. Move the ship, 1, 2. All right, and that's it for turn 5. So No thrust brake, no regeneration step, no long orders. And so no long orders, we go to segment 6. No acceleration dots, no pulses. Future position markers right here through the gate. The move ships phase, move to future position marker, no pivots or rolls. So now we're going to go turn 7, no long orders, move this, ship moves forward. So no acceleration dots, no thrust. I'm not displacing the future position marker at all. Well, yeah, goes right here. Move the ship, no pivots or thrust, and we're through the gate. And the next turn, we're just going to end up right there. So it worked out really well. So we started, I don't know if I moved this, but I believe we started from this little white box over there, right there, one of those two. And then we just went like that, and we made it through. So hopefully you picked up some things on this video. Thank you. It's been a long one. If you're still here after all that time, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Please check out my channel. Bye-bye.